Today's video is one that I have been a little bit nervous to put out there, not because of any drama or anything like that, but just one that I'm a little bit nervous that some people might try to take advantage of. So let's get right into what I'm talking about. Welcome to the most passionate content for card collectors on YouTube and possibly the whole entire internet. As usual, I am your host, Jake Roy, 90s b-ball cards here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Still slacking on TikTok, what can I say? But I check it. If you send me a message, I'll look at it. So today, like I said, I am nervous to put out this list. So what we're talking about today is my top 10 Penny Hardaway cards that I am looking to get in my collection. This is my top 10 want list of Penny Hardaway cards. And yes, there are some cards on my want list that are of other players, but Penny's my main PC, so he always rules supreme. So why am I nervous putting this list out there? Well, I'll tell you. This list is one of those that I am worried that somebody might see and have some of the cards and kind of hold hostage over my head. So that's why it's one of those that I've been working on for my own use as I'm looking for cards. It's very helpful to prioritize my wants and wishes, but I've been nervous to put out there. But some people have encouraged me not to be so nervous, to have faith in this trading card community. So that's what I'm going to do. And I think that it's something that we can all benefit from going through this process. And we'll talk more about that as we go through. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump into the cards that we're talking about on this list. Alright, so what I decided to go through for this list are the cards, the top 10 cards that, again, like I said, I want in my PC, the ones that I want the most. So to go through that list, kind of what I used for the barometer, it's not really indicative of the value or the scarcity, it's just the stuff that I have the strongest connection to. Sometimes it's sentimental value, sometimes it's a card that was almost in my grasp and I missed, just stuff that I know if I see it, if I'm going through National, for example, and I see it in a case, I know I'm going to have to do whatever I can, move whatever I need to in order to get that card. I'm going to have a strong pull and desire to get that card in my collection, and there are various reasons for that, and we'll go through the reasons for each one. But also in a lot of these cases, these are cards that I haven't seen or had the ability to get in my collection for a number of years, so either I've never seen them sell, or I haven't seen them sell recently, or they've been out of my range, or all the different kinds of stuff. So that's part of the reasoning why I'm going through this list. But the other reason is it really is helpful for me to prioritize what I'm trying to get in my collection based on a list like this. If there are a few different cards that are big cards, rare cards that come up at the same time, having a list like this is very helpful for me to go through and know which ones I should prioritize, which ones are really going to have an impact to me that I'm really going to enjoy and really be happy and satisfied that I got in my collection. So when I go through this list and I look at those cards and evaluate it, if I see one that's number 2 on my list and number 8 on my list, I know which one I should prioritize. Again, these are just 10. There are a lot more cards that I want to get in my collection. There are no shortage of cards I'm trying to get in my collection, probably too many. But a list like this, going through a process like this, is very helpful for me, might be helpful for you as well. As you see, we're using a little bit of a different camera angle, switching it up a little bit, trying something new for this video in a lot of different ways. So let's start off this list with number 10. So number 10 on the list here, we have the 98.99 Fleer Brilliance 24 karat gold. So this is one that is a gorgeous card I have seen in hand, in person. In fact, last year at National, I heard rumors that there were 3 in the room. I know of one that sold that I was able to see and touch that also got graded at National. Incredible cards to see, but the fact that there's only 24 of them and there were 3 potentially in the same room last year is unbelievable. But like I said, I know of some of them that sold. So the last one that I saw sold was a raw copy. Looking at raw copies, there was one that sold that was graded a long time ago that was number 1 out of 24 carries a premium, all that kind of stuff. I think through PWCC. I think it was a BGS graded card, but that's not really the significant part. So the last one that I saw was in July of last year, I think for $3,000 cash is what I heard. So that's one of those cards that I have seen, I have held, and was, you know, close to being able to work on a trade for at National, but didn't quite happen. So that's part of the reason why, because it was really close, really close. So the next one, number 9 on the list, is the 99 2000 Topps MVP promotions. And really any of the MVP promotions of Penny would be great to get in my collection, but specifically the 99 2000, there are 2 of them, one with the Magic, one with the Suns. The one in the Magic uniform is the one that I want the most, but that is also one that I didn't know a ton about. And Kyle from Wax Museum Podcast had helped educate me, as well as everybody else that was listening to his podcast, that there are only 100 printed copies of each of those cards, and a lot of them have gotten lost over the you know, sands of time, have been misplaced, or people didn't think that they were important, or in some cases they were ones that were redeemed. So there's probably less than 100 of most players. They are very hard to track down, and I had the opportunity to buy one. The last one I saw sold was back in 2017, and that was for right around $30. And at that time, I was watching that auction, I looked at it, and I didn't think it was that rare of a card, so I didn't really make a very strong push. $30 is a no-brainer at this point. And it's just one of those that's very hard to find. Not a lot of people know about them, all that kind of stuff. So I have some of other players in my collection, Lamar Odom, Vince Carter, you know, some other guys that are kind of fringe PC, Corey Maggette. But I really want those pennies, as many of them as I can track down, but really specifically that first year, 99 2000 in the Magic uniform, the Suns uniform I want as well. But one that I had the opportunity to buy, every opportunity to get it at that point in time. It has not come up since then. It's been, what, 5 years now since I've seen the last one sell publicly. Not that some of these haven't moved privately, but that's the last one that I saw. So would really love to track one of those down. Not the most valuable cards, but definitely hard to find. So the next one here, number 8 is what we're on in the list. So we've got the 98.99 Skybox Molten Metal Fusion Titanium. So I have the Fusion. The Titanium is the gold version. There's been some misinformation on Facebook and Instagram posts and stuff like that out there. So this is a set that has the silver version and the gold version. The first part of the silver set was serial numbered to 250, the first half, and the second half was not serial numbered. Penny is in that second half. For the gold version, or the titanium version, the first half is laser numbered to 40. Jordan's in there, Vince Carter's in there, Allen Iverson, some great players, and then Penny's in the second half that again is not serial numbered. So the Penny and the other ones that are in that second half are a little bit more common, but still very hard to track down. And because of those ones that are numbered to 40, those get a little bit more interest, the ones that aren't serial numbered, because obviously those rare ones fetch a hefty price tag. You know, Jordan and Kobe obviously headliners in that class. So it's hard to find the Penny. They're very expensive when they do pop up. They're also very condition sensitive, and the people who have them really like to hang on to them. And in some cases, people try to collect that set because, again, with those ones that are numbered being very significant, the other ones also draw quite a crowd. So the last one that I saw sold was the raw copy in April of 2022. So not that long ago. I think that was about a $300 or a $400 card at that point in time. I have had some people DM me and try to work out trades for copies that are graded and whatnot, and you know that graded copies of cards aren't necessarily my first inclination to get in my collection. They aren't something that really make me want them more, with the exception of a few cards that need to be authenticated and stuff like that. This is not one of those. So having to pay a premium or trade a premium for a graded copy wasn't something that I was really terribly interested in, but you know, it's something that definitely is still on the table. So there have been a few options that I've had to try to get one. Nothing that has worked out for both parties yet, but definitely one that is high on my list because it's just been so hard to track down and get in my collection with a fair deal. So that is number 8. Number 7, we have got another one that I've had a couple of close calls with. So 97-98 UD3 season ticket auto. So this was a redemption auto. packed out in UD3 products, a really cool product. The trade cards are really cool. I would love to get a trade card, but the autograph cards are also spectacular. Horizontal cards, not necessarily my first preference in my collection, but having some hollow foil where that autograph is also makes it really jump out and really cool. Now, the autograph didn't stick necessarily as well as some other autograph cards, even from the UD3 product and others, but that makes it all the more difficult to find a good one. So I have had options to get some faded ones or ones that are kind of deteriorated a little bit. Finding a good solid autograph is very important to me, as well as a lot of autograph collectors. Not something I necessarily need to get a 10 on an auto or a 9 on an auto, but something that looks good, something that's not completely faded and you almost have to look at to see if it is autographed or not. So that's part of what makes this one hard to track down, is I'm kind of picky on the auto quality on that. So the last raw one that I saw sell was in September of 2021, so about a year or two ago, and I think it was about $800. So they aren't cheap either. And other people definitely have the same preference that I do, that the autograph quality is paramount in those. So the next one that we have got on the list, so $98.99 Topps Chrome Apparitions Refractor. So Topps Chrome, and then the Refractor version. I've got the Topps, which is a really cool one and is pretty rare to get as well when you're trying to pull it. I love the foil. The Topps Chrome is not a very hard pull, but the Refractor version, there are only 100 copies of that. So that is one that I have seen sell very seldom. I know a few people who have multiple copies of that card, and it is very difficult to get that one from them. So we'll see if I can try to get some of those, if we can like maybe rendezvous at the National and see if we can work out some deals. Again, graded copies, you know, a lot of them have started getting graded because they are so rare. These are gorgeous cards. There's a lot of colors going there that really play well with the refractors. I have been fortunate enough to get the Michael Finley as kind of a placeholder in my collection until I can get that penny. So the last raw copy that I saw sell was in the fall of 2020, and that sold for $450 if I remember correctly. So you know, raw copies are the preference. I think there have been one or two that have sold that have been graded. So see if I can pull up the comps on those and see what those have gone for. But just a gorgeous card, very rare, something that might not be, you know, the most iconic. We've talked about iconic inserts, but something that I always really gravitated towards because they're just beautiful cards and rare as well. So next one on the list, another one from $98.99 Fleer Brilliance, but this time we're talking about the Shining Stars Pulsar. So that is one that there's a base version of, and then there is this almost a refractor version of, and it's on the both the back and the front that you see kind of that refractor pattern on these. So this is one that is a beautiful card, and part of the reason why it's on this list is because I had the opportunity to get one. We're talking like I think 4 years ago, and it was in a fire sale on Facebook, which is one of those that I've talked about, one of those avenues to buy that I used to use prevalently, that you have to be very quick. And I saw it, and I was not quick enough to say that I was going to buy it, and I think it sold for like $30 or $40, and even at that point in time, that was a steal of a price for such a rare card and such a beautiful card. And since then, I haven't been able to find it. So the last one that I saw sold was a PSA 8. I don't think I've seen any raw comps in the last 5 years on this card. So PSA 8 in February of 2020, or 2022, I think. It was really rare, fairly recent, and I missed it. It went very quickly for I think $300. So you know, again, that's one of those cards that is rare. The grade on it is not as significant as the card itself. So you know, one of those that hopefully I get another chance at. I know that that $30 or $40 price point, whatever it was that I passed up or wasn't quick enough to in that fire sale, is never going to come up again. I mean, if maybe I'm lucky and I find it in a dollar bin that somebody makes a mistake, maybe that's an opportunity, but I doubt that. I'm not going to hold out for that. So definitely high on my list because a missed opportunity that I still remember and stings a little bit. So next one, I think we're at number 5 on the list, for somewhere around there. We've got $97.98 Topps Finest, the gold embossed refractor. These we've talked about in the past. We've ripped some of the product, hoping we're going to find some. Numbered to just 74 copies. very rare, but also there's a lot going on visually. So this is the gold version that I have the refractor of. I also have the embossed that's also die cut, but you combine the two and you get that nice atomic refractor pattern, and it's numbered to 75. So just one of those that I really think is a stellar example of everything that the 90s had to offer. Rare, and has a lot of visual things going on, and it's penny. So the last one that I saw sold of that, I think, was in August of 2020, and I think it was about $900 for that card raw. Those are ones that I think it is important to have authenticated. There are some that have floated around without serial numbering on the back that then get serial number added on, later. So those don't pass authentication sometimes. There are some other versions that haven't been die cut. There's all kinds of funny things going on with those Topps Finest refractors from 97, 98. So I think that authentication definitely is important and should carry a premium for those. Something that I would not shy away from getting something, even if it's a low grade copy. That is fine by me. So we've seen me get some low grade copies in my collection of cards just because I want to have them and have them authenticated, and this is definitely one that would fall into that category as well. So that's number 4. Number 3 on the list, and this might be one of the most expensive ones on the list if we're being honest. So 97, 98 Upper Deck game jersey, specifically the away version. So the first time ever that Upper Deck made the NBA some game jersey cards, and Penny had 2 copies, and since that blue jersey is the one that I love and adore from the 90s, that is my favorite jersey by far. I want that jersey card. So that is one that I am not alone. People love the set, people love that jersey, people love the pennies, all kinds of stuff that is very important for the set, and they have gone up steadily over the years, and this is no exception for the penny or any other cards in the set. So the last one that I saw sell raw was in December of 2021, and I think that was about $1,900, so almost a $2,000 card. And I remember it wasn't very long ago that raw copies were selling for below $1,000. So these have definitely gotten a lot of interest. The first jersey cards for the NBA, something that's very important and became a staple of NBA products. So something I'd love to get in my collection. I remember Nat Turner opened a box of these not long ago and pulled the penny, sent it off to PSA, and this was before, Collector's Universe or any of that stuff. This was in his prior life, so to speak, professionally, and got a PSA 10 on that penny. Made me just a little bit jealous, Nat. So something that I would love to get in my collection. Doesn't have to be a PSA 10, but at some point we need to make that happen. All right, number 2 on the list, just a gorgeous card here, 97, 98 Fleer Ultra Stars Gold. So this is a card that I have many friends that have had copies of, whether it's Penny or other players that they collect. Very rare, very hard to track down, but very beautiful cards. Everybody loves gold, but this has an incredible hollow foil pattern on there. Something that's kind of similar to the Rave Reviews from Z-Force, but up another notch because it's gold. Also, I just love the picture that they use for Penny, the way that it's centered with that star. It's just something that visually is aesthetically very pleasing for the Penny Hardaway version. I love the silver because the silver goes with the star of the Magic jersey, but the gold also has just a special quality to it. So this is one that I haven't really had many opportunities to get. I know that Josh from Cardboard Chronicles and the Card Ladder team was trying to get one, and we were talking, and I said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna let you get yours first, and then I'll wait and get mine later on. So I'm still waiting to get mine. He has gotten his. He's had it a couple of different times. He's moved it in and out of his collection, has it back in his collection now. So now it's time for me to find mine. So the last raw copy that I saw sell was back in, I think, January of 2020, and that sold for about $600 or $700. This set has taken off in popularity. People have recognized how rare they are, how beautiful they are, so something that has definitely shot up in price when you find them, but is very hard to find. I don't see them come up for sale publicly much. It is definitely private deals with collectors. You have to know where they are and know what they're worth to give a good offer. So one of those that networking is very, very critical for. So that's number 2 on my list. Number 1 on my list, I've talked about this card a lot, probably since the beginning of time in my channel, even before my channel. This was a card that I had sought after and just dreamt of what it would look like, all kinds of stuff. So without any further ado, the number 1 card, 98-99 UD Choice Star Quest 4-star or gold of Penny. So that one is numbered to 100, and I've talked about how my dad loved the UD Choice set, bought tons of boxes for us, my brothers and I, to chase the 4-star golds and to chase the Prime Choice Reserves. So I've gotten the Prime Choice Reserve of Penny. There's only one, whereas Jordan has multiple, and some other players do as well. Penny only has one, and I've been able to get that in my collection, but the Star Quest Gold is one that we were able to pull the 3-star of Jordan for my brother, and you know, I have plenty of 3-stars, but that 4-star of Penny is one that I have not been able to track down. I know some people that have had them. They're also very condition sensitive. So I've had the opportunity to get some in trade or to buy from people that have had some condition issues. I know people that have owned them, sent them off for grading, come back as trimmed to try to, you know, somebody that had them prior tried to alleviate some of those condition issues. Let's not do that ever again. So yeah, that's something that is very also important for me to have authenticated. I don't want a trimmed copy of any card in my collection. So, you know, something that I don't want foil loss on the front, like some of the other copies that I've had the opportunity to purchase or that I've seen on ComC before. Don't want any of that stuff. I want something that's at least in decent condition. It doesn't have to be PSA 10. You know, I don't care about that, but I don't want something that's got foil loss and all kinds of bad condition issues that just take away from the eye appeal. So I'm a little bit picky with those, but again, if I see one and I have the opportunity to strike, it's going to be hard for me to pass it up. So the last time that I saw one sell publicly was in January of 2021, and that was about a $600 card at that point in time. It's really hard to tell what that card would go for now, because I know a lot of penny collectors like myself would go crazy for that. So we'll see what happens. One that definitely I'm going to keep my eyes peeled in Atlantic City. So that's my top 10 list. If you have any of these cards and you're looking to move them, please let me know. Again, I'm a little bit nervous because if you're trying to hold me over a barrel, that's not going to be a fun process for either one of us. But if you know somebody that has them, that's looking to move them, let me know that as well. It'd be great to work with somebody and try to get these into a good home where they're going to be in their forever home. So these are PC cards for me. They are not cards that I would be flipping or whatever. But anyway, enough with the classified for my top 10 cards. That is what I have that I would like to get for my top 10 cards, you know, and I can't get them all in a year, but over the course of my collecting, this list will probably change as I get one or two here or there. So that's the list for today. Again, nervous putting this video out there, so we'll see how things go, and trying this new camera angle as well for something a little bit different to spice it up. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any videos in the future. New videos dropping once, sometimes twice a week. Looks into my collection, pack openings from the 90s, PSA and other graded card reveals, and occasional collector interviews, and so much more. So we'll talk later. Thanks.